Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Diamond Rose Show. It is a bright and sunny day, and I have a gloomy topic to talk to you about. So I'm sorry, burp, but it's a quickie. It's not like a lecture or anything. So yeah. So I just kind of want to talk about something that we're getting into that season where there's seasonal depression. Just all kinds of stuff. And I can see something like right there on my shirt, and it just bothering me. All right, I'll ignore it, but I don't know. Anyway, distracted. Um, so we're coming into the season of depression, like seasonal depression disorder. The just a lot of stuff happening, and a lot of stuff happening in my life, and I just kind of want to talk about how you shouldn't let anxiety or grief hinder you from living your life. And I think it's important to keep that in mind because it's so easy to let anxiety um, dictate what you do and what you don't do, who you interact with, who you don't, and the places you go to. I understand that. And I know there's some people that, like, there's no way around it. Like, absolutely not. There's hard no's. And I'm not saying, do what makes you scared. No, I am like, I guess, blessed in a sense that I do have anxiety, but not to an extent where I can't override it most of the time. When I do notice that I'm getting anxious about something and I'm like, Diamond, are you really anxious about this? Or what's actually the root of the problem? And I'm able to dissect that within myself and just realize, oh, I don't want to not do that because of something that happened years ago. Um, and I think it's good that I have that ability to do that with myself. A lot of people are unable to do that. A lot of people are unable to just like dissect where their anxiety is coming from. Is it rooted in something that's happened in the past? Is it rooted in a fear that they've just developed in their mind? Because that's something that we do as people. We tend to like make up these scenarios in our heads where it's like, oh my God, this could totally happen here. And it's very common for us to avoid situations based on these imaginary situations we made in our mind. So I'm getting away from doing that because that's just not a healthy way to live. It's not good. Um, and I don't want my fears to begin to impede on other people's lives. Um, so I don't at all, and I don't put people in situations where I feel like I'm making them compromise because I may be nervous about something. Um, but that's going to be hard because we're coming into the season of holidays, where people are put in situations where they're like, I can't do this, or, you know, my coping strategies are not available to me because I had to fly across the world or I had to fly to another state. And I just want people to keep in mind is that um, while anxiety is a part of you, it is not the most important part of you. And I challenge you to start to dissect things with yourself when you start to notice that when you introduce yourself or when you think about yourself in general, the first thing that comes to your mind is anxiety. Like, I have anxiety or I have depression. If it becomes the fact that that's the defining part of you, I dare yourself to challenge that. Like, I am not an anxious person. Like, you may be, but don't make it seem like that's who you are because I think that adds more anxiety to it where you're like, oh, well, I'm anxious, so I can't do that. I'm depressed, I can't do that. Like, all that stuff. Um, I challenge you to instead, like, look at the positive ends of it. Like, I may not like being in large crowds, but you know what? I really can have great connections with people one on one. I'm a great listener. I'm a great, interactor or whatever. Like, try to place some positives on it instead of focusing on the, well, I have anxiety, therefore I cannot. And it's very easy for people to slip into that. And it's very easy for that to slip into their friends or family's lives. And I think that's my current profession. I talk to a lot of students, and that's kind of what I do. I've started to notice that a lot of roommates come to me and they're like, Diamond, my roommate has anxiety, and it's gotten to a point where she won't go out to eat, or she tells me I shouldn't go out to eat because of X, Y, and Z moments. Or she doesn't want us to stand by the window, or he doesn't want us to like call someone. Like, a lot of stuff that is impeding on that other person's ability to function normally. And I think that's completely unfair. If you yourself have anxiety, I don't think it's fair for you to try to project your anxieties onto other people because that's not that. That's not fair. Though it may be out of concern, in most cases it is out of concern, it is not fair for you to project your fears and anxieties onto other people, assuming that they will feel the same way. And so in most cases like that, when people come and talk to me about that, they're like, I want to move rooms, or this was a bad idea. She was my best friend, and suddenly, like, this happened. So I want to challenge people on both ends. So if you are a person who does not necessarily suffer from any anxiety, depression, or anything and whatnot like that, I challenge you to be patient with your friends, but to also know your limits. So if you're noticing that you are unable to hang out with certain people, unable to go out at certain times or interact like you normally would because you're trying to accommodate for your friend's anxiety, I say stop that. Your life is your own to live. Live it. And there's just so far you can go when it comes to telling people, like, I can reassure you, this is what's going to happen, this is what's not going to happen. There's so much that you can do. Do not stop living your life because someone else is nervous about it. Because if that was the case, then we wouldn't even interact with other people. And so for my people that are anxious, that, suffer from that situation, I challenge you to not see yourself as a burden, because you're not. In most cases, this is due to some trauma. But I also challenge you to try to make sure that you're not overextending your anxiety to other people. And that can be hard if your anxiety is a learned anxiety. If you noticed it, because one of your significant others had it and then suddenly it's yours, or a parent had it and it's suddenly yours. I challenge you to disown the part of your anxiety that is not your own. If it is not your anxiety that you have learned through trauma, or unfortunately if it is trauma, but if it's literally just because someone told you, oh yeah, you should not walk out at night, you should not enjoy going out to drinks with your girlfriends or your boyfriends or your friends in general, I challenge you to not accept that as your own anxiety, because that's not fair to you. You're not living your best life. Because fear has a natural, it's supposed to be in us. We're supposed to be fearful in some cases, but that primary urge of fear of everything is not necessary anymore. And this is coming from a Black woman that lives in a white ass fucking state. I'm telling you, you cannot be scared of everything, or else you are not living your life. Now, I'm not telling you to jump into a lion's cage or do something fucking dangerous. I'm telling you, going out with your friends, going to see a movie, enjoying time alone, you should be able to claim that as your own. And don't let anyone take it from you. And if someone begins to try to take it from you, challenge them on why that is. So, weird. I know, seems like it came out of the blue, but it's been like something that's happening in my life personally, and things I've been seeing a lot with the students I'm interacting with. So, I guess to end this, it's don't let anxiety keep you from living your life. Don't. And don't make your anxiety someone else's anxiety, because that's a good way to push your friends away. So yeah, hope y'all have a wonderful day. Bye.